Good morning, and today's going to be King Queen of Hearts. We are in the big blind. Holds around on small blind, open raises, and it's to us. So stack size, effective stacks are over 100. I got small blind that raises. I think this should be a pretty easy 3-bet with our hand. We're strong. We've already looked at it. I didn't do that. I just called. I think this is probably a weak in my game is blind versus blind play. I think I need to be a bit more aggressive with these big cards, especially against a small blind raiser. So perhaps I rationalize it because Villain's not overly loose. He's playing 25-16. When we look at his attempt to steal, it's 25% or about that. Has a lot of c-bet, usually c-bets. And if he c-bets flop right now, it looks like he c-bets turn. If we look at his small blind stat, racer sends 100% to a 2 out of 2. You see 40% from the cutoff, 14% from the button. Those are all the attempt to steal ranges. I kind of think it's just going to be decent hands that he got. So I just said maybe 20% is going to be his range here that he's actually going to raise first in at. I kind of think he would be limping in or just calling with other hands. But I'm going to go with that range. And I don't think that's necessarily super loose. I mean, you could say if it's... Yeah, so yeah, it's not super loose. It's not super tight. It's just kind of a... I think it's narrower than what it should be. So when we see like small blind, we're looking at basically raising all of that. And based on that, then this kind of sets up our call. I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's raising that much. So, you know, these ranges should be a little bit tighter. So I think it's someplace between this one and this one. So even with the small blind tight, could be what we would play. So we're gonna say that that's his raising range. For us, I kind of think we should probably use that. So I mean, versus a tight player, yeah, it does have king queen as a call, but I think we're not. I don't think we're kind of between these two. I think we're between these two. So you can just kind of take that range. Let's do that. You take that range and that range, and I think you can you could kind of go in between it. So I think a 3-bet would include probably like ace jack suited, king queen suited, queen jack suited, jacks and tens, maybe ace queen off. I think you're adding a few more hands, so I do think we should have probably raised here. Flop comes down 8-5-4. Missed us completely. No back doors, no nothing. He already bet. I kind of feel like if he bets, we're probably just gonna have to give up. I mean, our hand's still good, but we're behind a lot of aces, and so forth. Villain didn't bet. He checked. I'm kind of curious if that was appropriate for him. I kind of feel like he's got probably a stronger range, and he should just be c-betting that. I think you're targeting hands like just like mine, where I'm gonna recognize that this flop misses, misses the pre-flop raiser. So I might be a little bit more inclined to call with a hand like king queen. Now, if I had king queen of spades, I would call. Obviously, king queen of clubs, I'd call. But having that backdoor flush draw would have really been useful. So villain checks. I'm gonna say eliminate these types of hands over pair. I'm also gonna eliminate top pair. I think top pair probably would have pet. Maybe even the sevens and sixes. So I'm gonna exclude flush draws, and I think flush draws would be betting based on his c-bet percentages, right? I feel like any draw probably would have been betting here. So basically no made hand, which is about the same as mine. I don't think we could bet. I mean, we could bet as a bluff, but I think for us, there's other hands that we could do that with. Definitely, I think we're gonna bet and try to go for, try to get some fold with these pairs. I think some of these low pairs are just trying to buy their equity. Even the top pair, you're just trying to buy your equity. I would do a flush draw. I would do gut shots. Even your overcards that are backdoor flush draws, I think you can add. You're looking at, we are starting to put a lot of draws. We're starting, but based on Villain's play, he's weak. So I didn't do that. I checked. So I was passive, and rightfully so. I'm kind of in that no made hand area too, where I don't really have any sort of backdoor draw. So, and that's, I'm gonna remove those 2-card backdoor draws at least. The high ones, well, heck, we'll just eliminate all of them. So now I mean, both of our hands are going to be weak, and you just look at this. Yeah, he's going to be slightly stronger. 7 of spades comes out. I think that would have, had we bet, I think that would have been a good turn barrel, and we probably would have picked up the pot at this point. So villain checks, no big surprise. I think he's got everything in his hand. Nothing is going to improve him. I think once you check the flop, you're going to be checking the turn. So then it's on me, and I don't think I have anything. Yeah, I could bluff with some of this open-ender draws, but I don't have any value. I don't have even a pair. So we're just hoping now to connect, and the board completes with the 6. So you've got a straight on the board, and you have flush draw on the board. Villain checks. I think we just check behind. Because who's gonna call? Straights. I think that's about it. I do think I bet here playing the straight to see if he was gonna fold. I think I guess it's an adequate play, because if he folds, we pick up the entire pot. The idea is perhaps he might think we have a flush, but I'm betting the flush draw at some point, so I think it strongly suggests that I don't have the flush, especially on the flop. Once he checks, I think flush draw bets. I didn't bet, so I don't think I have the flush draw. So I did bet. He calls. He shows ace king, which is pretty strong hand. Is that in his range? Yeah, it is. So you look at, nothing hand. He chose not to see bet. Rightly or wrongly. I do think he should have see bet. This hand, he's got king of spades. It's gonna block some of the back door. You've got an ace, you've got 2 overs on a board that, yeah, could possibly connect, but I call once, and then any face card comes, and it's gonna be hard for me to call again. So he RF'd, I think this is 3 point something, 3.2. With ace arc king of spades, he is out of position. He check on 8 of clubs, 5 of spades, 4 of clubs, 7 of spades, 6 of clubs. All right. So fortunate I didn't raise pre-flop. I raise pre-flop. He comes over the top. I'm gonna probably have to call with my king queen, although when we think about 3-bet ranges and 4-bet ranges. He's got 7%. It's 3 out of 43. I'm going to chalk that up to having good hand. Ace King could easily 3-bet. Ace Queen could 3-bet. Aces, Kings, Queens can 3-bets, and so forth. So he comes over a 4-bet. I don't think I could call. Even though I'd like to, I think I'm probably calling. I'm going to be dominated. So that would probably be the proper plays, just fold. But I do think we should have 3-bet pre-flop. I think King Queen's strong enough. Is even against a player that's kind of between the GTO type player and the tighter player. And then, even though I didn't, I think we probably have an opportunity to bet on the flop. And we already worked through like what hands we could play. You always want to have some sort of draws with it. King Queen doesn't really have a draw at all. The King Queen of Hearts doesn't have a draw, so I'm okay with checking at that point. I wonder what GTO recommends. So let's check it out. All right, I ran it, got it set up. So let's check it out. So villain should be betting about 25%. Little surprised that he's not betting at a higher frequency. Kind of assumed he would based on ranges, but then again, the board let's say I think I could look at this. Let's take out flop and turn. Equity graphs. Yeah, you've got some range advantage happening. I think so. I think that this is what it means. Out of all the hands, well, it's individuals. In any case, yeah, it sounds like his check's okay, and then our check is okay too. We are betting. I don't remember how much I'm betting here, or what I think I'm betting. That's 44. So we're betting 55%, which is about right. I mean, we're betting straights. We're betting a lot of these pairs. We're betting these draws. We do have some overcards, but my guess is these overcards kind of hit the 2-card backdoor flush draws. Definitely, you can see the strength of these 2-card backdoor flush draws. Notably, it's Ace Jack, King Queen, Ace 10 are all call or are all checks. So we're withholding some of those 2-card backdoor flush draws in our checking range, so that we could theoretically then bet the turn. So I think that's an interesting finding here for the GTO. So it looks like we did okay with our check. 7 of spades comes out. So now villain should be betting about 47.8%. He does have some stronger cards in his range. His Ace King still kind of favoring checks, so he checked it again. And then we're betting 51%. So now you still have, we have a lot fewer combos. We could say that. So of the fewer combos that kind of checked, we were withholding some of those. Let's go back to here. You can see it's not 100%. We're withholding some of these combos. We're only partially betting some of these. We're betting 6s. So you've got a 6 here. Sometimes we're betting our 6s. So we've got a small amount of checks here. Those are the hands that we're going to bet. But again, based on our hands, I think King Queen's still a check. If we picked up like a backdoor draw, we're still kind of checking with our King Queen. So our check was appropriate. Villain checks here. Again, strong check. And then we can bet 16% of the time. We're betting with basically our flushes and our straights.
and our straights are just like ace nine. You know, that's the upper end of the straight. Everything else is we're checking. So what do we see with the GTO? Yeah, a little surprised that villain's not supposed to be c betting more. It's only GTO suggesting only 25%. But then when he checks, our hands kind of the plan on expectation of what I should be betting, yeah, follows in suit. It's just I didn't have one of those hands. So it does look like GTO saying I played okay on the flop and beyond. But I'm going to say, yeah, pre-flop we should have raised. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another.